Come up, come up, come up. Come up, come up, come up. Come up, come up, come up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Waiting for a couple of people to join the live. Let's go. Let us go. We are giving away memberships today. Yeah, we are giving away a couple of 10 minutes with Kuhle memberships. We're giving those away. Giving those away to you guys. To you guys. I keep forgetting the camera's this way. It's not that way. But because I've got a new camera, as you can see, it's that way. And my PC is that way. So I'm so used to looking at the PC because usually the webcam now, the camera's this side and I'm looking at. But get used to it, get used to it, get used to it. Okay, cool. People are joining. People are joining. Hey, Etta Akutia. Welcome, 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 welcome. Come up, come up, come up. Shalom, shalom, my friend. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yes, people are joining. Today we're going to have a fire-packed episode. I can't wait I've been packing a couple of information. Obviously, I've been traveling. If you have noticed, I'm so sorry. I need to look at the camera, not at my PC. I've been traveling a lot lately. I've been in the Western Cape, went through to Stellenbosch, went through to Cape Town, went through to many, many places in the Western Cape. Got to see some stunning places. And, for someone as myself who's not from the Western Cape, it's very interesting to see how South Africa would function if it was a working country. You actually realize how much potential South Africans have to have a functioning economy. It only takes a government that is serious. It really does. It does not take some super intelligent guy. It only takes a couple of people who are just damn serious about wanting to fix the problems South Africa has. Now, I traveled a lot, and I'm going to tell you something very interesting about one of the places I went to. So, I went to UCT, and so someone from UCT, right, who is pretty senior at UCT, they're not a lecturer, but senior in terms of their senate or what do you call it, the little council, not the SRCs, the much older guys, comes to me and says, Kuhle, a few years ago we passed the thing where we would no longer accept Jewish funding as UCT, and it was done through that SRC, and the SRC being EFF-YC, right? And yeah, so allegedly that thing was passed through a few years ago. Cool. Now he says to me, Kuhle, ever since we've passed that thing through and with this SRC of the EFF and all that stuff, he says the university has been struggling financially. That's what he says to me. He says, we don't have money, we are struggling financially. Yeah, it's terrible. That's what he says. It's terrible. We are literally hanging on by a thread. Now, I sit here and, oh, well, as he mentioned that to me, he goes on to say, we would love for, and I don't want to go too deep into the conversation because obviously it's secretive, but he says, would love for this organization, to at least repel the law, because he was saying that as an institution, they cannot continue without Jewish funding. Now, now, understand me very well. I know that there's one problem that South Africans face, right? One problem that South Africans face, and mainly it does happen to be Black South Africans. We can't distinguish between a business relationship and personal relations, which is a very important thing. It's a very, very important thing. And we often find ourselves dealing with big problems because we cannot distinguish between the two. We think the two can be joined together. We think the two can work hand in hand, while they really can't. So, for example, take the Israel and the ICJ case. If South Africa functioned as a business and not as a personal moral compass or whatever, we would not have taken Israel to the ICJ in the first place. That would not be happening. Right. But because many South Africans lack the understanding of the fact that we live in a geopolitical world, we live in a world that is mixed with so many people, and they are the forces that be. Meaning, you've got to understand how to navigate this tricky trajectory. Now, the trick here is the ANC, the EFF, MK, Action SA, and all these other thugs, including citizens that have been fooled by these thugs, don't understand that there is a difference between these two. And that links to so many things that are going on in South Africa. And I've actually diagnosed this problem. I've diagnosed the problem. In life, we can all have a problem with the guy next door. But how we deal with the problem is more important than the problem that we actually have with that particular individual. Now, many South Africans will complain about land and speak about expropriation without compensation. And I'm linking this to my point. Fair. I'm not a fan of expropriation without compensation. You guys know my views. But whatever, if that's your view, cool. That you support it, cool. That's you. That's on you, buddy. But understand this. The world that we live in does not allow for expropriation without compensation. Like, you just need to think about this thing logically. But, oh man, people don't. People have got this thing of wanting to be Mandela's children. Let us be the moral compass. Let me be straightforward with you. South Africa is no longer the land of Mandela. We've lost that thing. We are now a country that has got to compete in a geopolitical world, a country that has got to compete against supergiants. This thing of us having this whole thing of we will stand in solidarity with Palestine, we will do XYZ, is not going to assist our economy. Hence, I say, the ANC's level of international relations or understanding of international relations, which has also spread to the citizens of South Africa, is very weak. You cannot have a mindset that is like, oh, this is my neighbor or this is my friend. No, we're dealing with economics here. You should ask yourself, why Mensa? And for those that do not, Mensa is it's a MENA rather, not it's Mensa or MENA, one of the two. It's the Middle East North Africa area, right? You should ask yourself, why Palestine's neighbors, those that live next to Palestine, those that are Islamists, right? They share one religion with the Ayatollahs, they share one religion with the people in Gaza. Mary. Why don't they support the people of Gaza? It's a simple question. Why don't the Saudis support the people of Gaza? Why don't the Emirates support the people of Gaza? Why don't the Yemenis support the people of Gaza? Why don't the Lebanese? I can go on and on and on and on and on. And I will tell you why. These people understand business. They understand the way the world works. They understand it. America does not like Saudi Arabia. But gosh, it's still going to work with Saudi because Saudi has oil. We've got to switch on as a country. We've got to wake up to reality that international relations is not my friend or my high school friend or whatever. And by the way, I just want to give out a couple of prizes today. I'm giving out a couple of prizes. So it's a couple of, how do I set this thing again? Yeah, there we go. I'm giving out a couple of memberships. Please see this now. It's coming through. Some new members. This is from me to you. It's a donation from 10 Minutes with Kuhle to you. Please accept your memberships. I've sent out another 5 memberships. There we go. Well, there we go. Thank you so much. People have gotten their memberships. From what I can see, Let me send out a few more. Let me send out a few more. So don't leave because that's how you get the memberships. Um, so yep, there we go. Okay, sent out the memberships. So understand this. We are traveling on tricky waters. We saw China recently hosted a little event there. Was it their 80th celebration of communism? Um, you saw huge tanks driving through the streets. Like my good friend Mike Sham said, you saw the Chinese carrying vehicles that looked like they were carrying dildos. That's what Mike Sham said. But it's a funny statement. But yeah, it looked like they were carrying that on the back of their, for this 80th celebration, and it looked all hump and all sorts. Now, I want you to realize one thing. President Cyril Ramaphosa was not at the event. I looked for him. I was searching deep. I couldn't see his big nose. I was like, maybe I'll smell his nose. Couldn't smell his nose. I couldn't see him. Cool. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa was not at the event. And I've got one of two diagnoses for this. I've got one of two diagnoses for this, rather. It's either BRICS no longer take South Africa seriously. They realize there are other more competitive African nations that are ready to work with white, black, Indian, and Chinese people. They realize that perhaps there are other African countries like your Ethiopias, like your Ugandas, like your Angolas, which are coming up very fast and are bound to overtake South Africa. Or, if it's not that, Ramaphosa is under pressure from the West. That is my second diagnosis for this. It's either one of the two. It's either Ramaphosa is under pressure from the West, that I will not go because, oh gosh, I'm still trying to speak to Donald Trump about these 30% tariffs. And the thing is, I don't know how the ANC works, because every week there is always a mampara from the ANC. There's just always someone who's got to go off script. Right? There's just some individual who decides that, no, man. Yeah, no. Today, it's going to be me that will just disturb the way the party is going. I mean, look at Fikile Mbalula. And this is the government, while the government is sending trade deals over to the US saying, please, let's relook. I know the US has declined the trade deals 3 times and we're going for a 4th one. I know they've declined already the first 3. But while the trade deal was still being spoken about, Fikile Mbalula comes out and says the most stupid things about Afrikaner people. He says Afrikaner people are car guards. The very same people who are being given safety in the United States, saying, here is safety. Here's a place where you won't have to face farm murders. Here's a place where you can farm freely. Here's a place where you can open up your coffee shop without the red tape of BEE. Here's a place where you can feel like you actually matter. But nay, not Fikile. Not Fikile. No. Not Fikile Mbalula. He realized, oh gosh, it can't be. This week can't go by with the ANC looking constructive. No, I must do something. And he decided to call Afrikaners car guards. Now, it doesn't end there. If you look at that story, and I'm just going to breeze through it quickly, that same story where he called Afrikaners car guards. He said that Afrikaners are now murderers and they are killing each other in the United States. That's what he said. It's not me. You can go and find the articles there. There are so many. It's not me. And I'm reading this thing. And I ask myself, how does the ANC gather their information? How on earth is there like someone who's purposely misleading Fikile that like, We don't know. Maybe Figile does not watch the news and someone just, gives him a script. Go and say this, go and say this. It was very clear. This thing was reported on CNN. It was reported on BBC. International news, not just South African news. What had happened was, it was an ex-American soldier, a veteran of the American army, due to his own depressions and all sorts, who had murdered his Afrikaans wife. Now tell me, when did Americans become Afrikaners? Is there a part that I missed? Was there a Dutch convoy or envoy back in the day that went to the United States with Columbus cruise that I missed? Is there a part that I missed? Or is the same education that your government, Figile, your crappy government, gave Black people incorrect and missed the part of Dutch people supposedly going to America? Because it's just full of lies. Why do you have to say such? Why do you have to say? I mean, I've never met a government that behaves the way the ANC does. And before we can even forget about that, we've got Ramaphosa, who took a trip to our African neighbors, Zimbabwe, the country that, wants to be the 10th province of South Africa, or maybe 11th after Lesotho. He took a trip there and he gets there. I don't think he could see much over his nose, but, Makabiki, he gets there and he says, oh, wow, this land expropriation is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Look at how it has worked for Zimbabweans. My gosh, this is a thriving economy. I'm not making this up. You can watch the speech. This is a wonderful place to be. Look. Black people have got land in Zimbabwe. My word. The only Black people that have got land in Zimbabwe is ZANU-PF. Now, that is the same idea the ANC want to introduce to South Africa. That is the same idea that the ANC, the cancer of society, want to introduce to South Africa. This stupid ideology of expropriation. Let's get one thing straight. Expropriation without compensation is theft. No matter how you see it. And I'll tell you how it's theft. Here's a pen. Here's a pen. Now, you say to me, Kuhle, some students don't have a pen to write their exam. Cool. I hear you. But because students don't have a pen to write their exams, and Kuhle, you have got pens. You've got pens. I'm going to take one, and the idea is I'm going to give it to a student. Whether you do or you do not give it to the student, the bottom line is you took it for free. And that is stealing. You cannot take something and not give something in return, and it's not a donation. What does it classify? It's stealing. That's the bottom line. I mean, he goes there and praises this thing. Have you guys gone to Zimbabwe? Can people in the chat share their experiences of Zimbabwe? Have you seen that place? A place that was once the bread basket of Africa is now a basket case. It's now at the begging bowl. A place that could provide its own food. It could grow its own crops. It had talented farmers. Those farmers left. So if the EFF, if the racist MK, and if all these racist pooples that live in South Africa think that you can drive away farmers, and somehow, because we've got so many people, they will just start farming and boom, my word, we'll have maize meal and all sorts. You are dreaming. You are dreaming. They chased away the farmers in Zimbabwe. The people were hungry. They are hungry. They import things as small as maize meal. A country that was known for being good at producing maize meal. A country that was known for farming citrus has turned into a country that begs for food. It begs for food. Please, man, please. basket case of Africa. Do you know that Zimbabwe imports $9 billion, not rands, 9 billion, and not Zim dollars, just get it straight, 9 billion US dollars worth of goods to Zim? And majority of the things that they import, in terms of, if we look at it in terms of plurality, is food. Fuel makes up about 600 million. And then food, if I'm not mistaken, especially agricultural food such as maize meal, goes to about 2 billion. Goes to about 2 billion. Now, I'm going to remind you about one thing. Zimbabwe is a very poor country. We all know that. Cool. There are very few people left in Zimbabwe because the majority have left. They are now cleaners and doing all sorts and work in other parts of, Exactly. The dogs are also leaving. That is so true, free spirits. Now, understand this. There are few people remaining in Zimbabwe. The same is going to happen to South Africa. The same is going to happen here. We've got white people that are leaving every year. We've got white people leaving South Africa every year. And I shared a stat the other day. It was this other chat that we're having. Also, thank you, Joe Cruiser, for the 35 Rand. Really appreciate it. Helps, goes a long way in keeping the production alive. As I was saying, I mentioned to them that if you look, the white population in South Africa is always decreasing by roughly about 1 to 2% every year. Go and check it. Go and check it out. And it's actually a bit more than that. So I'm a bit mistaken, but it's about 1 to 2%. And I did a study on this thing. And I said, we're going to get to a point where you can actually just handpick the few remaining white South Africans. It's fine. Leave that aside. Cool. And then let's go to black people. I checked. What's happening with black people? Yes, the population is growing, but poverty is growing. That's the thing. Black people that are in the middle class, the number is decreasing. And if that number is not decreasing, many of them are starting to move abroad. So what's actually happening in South Africa is we are having a skills drain. We're getting to a point where there will be zero talent remaining in South Africa. The only talent will be the crooks of the ANC. But there will be zero talent remaining in South Africa. The guys that will remain are the racists. And if they've got to go somewhere, maybe they'll move to China. How about that? Because they never moved to China. Or maybe they'll move to Venezuela. How about that? But they never moved to such countries. They moved to prosperous nations that have got democracies, nations that are led by both black and white people. Now, going back to the story is, people are leaving South Africa. There's a skills drain. I looked at a stat, and I was at UCT, like I told you. There was a little panel discussion that we had. And some kid asked me, he said to me, Kuhle, what you once said, NSFAS should start to streamline the modules that it funds. And he said that NSFAS should not be a bursary and people should pay back the money. And basically, I'm against free things. Cool. And he says, what were you actually going to? Now, let me explain what I was going to. This is a stat, official stat. Out of all students studying out of students in matric, right? And I'm talking about GDE. Did you know that only 11% do pure maths and advanced maths? The other 89% are doing maths lit. If it's not maths lit, they're not doing maths at all. Now, understand this very well. Understand this very well. You cannot build an economy on an 11% future. It's grim, guys. It's grim. You're building an economy on 11% future. And I understand what I mean by that 11% is that's 11% that is doing maths. And what I mean is that 11%, chances are they can do science, they can do accounting. And I'm not saying if you are not doing maths, you are not part of the economy. Don't get it wrong. But the bottom line is you need the science, you need the accountants, you need the IT specialists. And we're not producing them. The ANC government is not allowing us to produce them. And I'm going to explain how to also get there. But this is the stats that I break down. I say you've got 11%. And out of that 11%, not all of them pass pure maths or advanced maths. So let's just imagine, hypothesis. Let's imagine out of the 11%, the people that actually passed are about 6%. So that means about 50%. That equates to about maybe 6%, roughly. So we're building South Africa on 6% of youth. There you go. 6% of youth is what is supposed to take South Africa into the fifth, actually not the fifth industrial revolution, into the sixth industrial revolution. Because the world is going for the sixth, we as South Africa are still trying to acclimatize into the fourth industrial revolution. We are still trying to get in and be part of the fourth industrial revolution. Mind you, other African countries have moved on. They are gone. Egypt is about to go, Egypt as a country, their grid, their electricity grid is about to be 35% reliant on solar energy by the year 2030, and they've started building it. They have started building it. But here we are, we've got an ANC led by Dada Morero in the city of Johannesburg, clapping for themselves for fixing Bree Street, for completing phase 1 after 3 years. 3 years! And the phase 1 is only made of cobblestones. It's a street made of paving bricks. It used to have tar, now it's got paving bricks. And here we are, after 3 years of this explosion. We must say, well done. Well done, ANC. Well done. You are working hard. Rubbish. Rubbish. I mean, it's unacceptable. You've got countries that are highly developing. I just gave you the stat on Egypt. Egypt wants to take itself, it wants to put itself on solar energy by 2030, 35% of the country. And it has already started. I saw the project with my own eyes. I said, wow, this is what they're doing in other countries. We are doing nothing. We are just sitting. We're arguing over stupid things. We've got politicians, racist, I don't want to use the bad word, but racist idiots like Ramaphosa, racist people like Julius Malema, who are here, who are singing Kill the Boer, who are singing all sorts to Bully Bunu, one bullet, one settler. We're focused on semantics. We're focused on stupid things. Busy with woke, instead of improving the goddamn country. What's so difficult? We clap for paving bricks. Can you believe it? The mayor of Joburg, Dada Morero, called a press conference. He called an award ceremony to say, come, see this road that we have fixed. Instead of putting tar, right, and it's 3 years later, instead of putting tar, we put paving bricks. What the hell, guys? What the hell is wrong with South Africa? I mean, what type of a country functions like this? I can't. I cannot. And then, going back, because I digressed, but going back to what I was saying about education, do you know that in Turkey, the schools channel children according to what they want to do, and that is where they will go in life. For example, the Turkish guys, they start teaching kids that, okay, you want to be a doctor in high school, you will go to what is a medical school of high school. You don't just go to school endlessly and we hope in the abyss that somehow you will make it. No. You know, like I said, I interacted with this guy from UCT and he broke down the stats for me. He said, Kuhle, it's very worrying. He says, you know, it's so difficult for white students to enter tertiary education in South Africa. Did you know that? It is difficult for white students to enter and difficult to enter it based on fairness, not on whatever. And I'll explain how the fairness comes in. Do you know that there is now red tape that is being set on varsities to say the more black children you take, right? Good, you'll get a higher grant from the government. You'll do 1, 2, 3. Fair, whatever, fine, whatever. Cool. But have you seen how it affects white students? The fact that, and people think I'm joking. People think I'm joking. I don't know if I can upload this thing on my screen. Do you know that a black student can enter UCT with lower marks than a white student? Did you know that? Like, it's legally allowed. It's not illegal. You can't even take it to court. You can't. And the funny thing about it, and the thing was, I was asked about this thing. And I said to them, you know what's so unfair about it? Is the fact that when they say black students, there's no way of cutting it. It's not saying black students that live in the township or black students that come from a rural homeland somewhere in KZN. No, it's black students as a whole. It could even be the black kid that went to Hilton. He will get in with a lot easier just because of his skin color. It's there. You can go and look for it. It's under the classification PDP, previously disadvantaged persons. For how long must we still be having these categories and expect the country to grow? How do you have such categories and expect a country to prosper with such nonsense? There is no prospering that will come out of there. And if you think it ends at UCT, I will take it to UKZN as well. Do you know that at UKZN, there's easier requirements for black students? But the difference is with UKZN's requirements, it says black students that come from public schools. That's the only difference. So you could come from King Edward's in Sandton, you could come from Pretoria Boys High. It's a public school and you're black. Will make it a lot easier for you to get in. That is why we are seeing a shortage. We're seeing smaller and smaller numbers of white students going to South African universities because the system is purposely cutting them out. And no one is calling this out. And the thing is, these greedy thugs of the EFF and ANC and all sorts want funding from the very white people, but they want to block their children from attending the schools. How ludicrous is this? You know, it's one thing for me to say, cool, we will let the township kid or the rural school kid go to varsity, whatever. But for me to agree that Paul Mashatile's son must go to varsity on easier requirements because he's black? No. You went to private school. You never for a day was sitting in a township. You were never faced poverty. You had a full meal. You had a 3-course dinner. You had a 3-course breakfast and lunch. You had guards protecting you. But somehow, because of this, we must treat you as a special case. You are now a charity case in society. Zelly97, thank you so much for the 350 bucks. It means a lot. Let me see if I can share a couple of more memberships. Let me see if I can just share a couple of more memberships with you guys. Okay, I just want to see if I can send. Okay, oh, it's the standard memberships. I will do that now. Let me just focus on this because I hate losing my focus. So we've got to change the direction as a country. We've got to change this direction, and it doesn't end there. You heard now, I was speaking to a guy from Varsity College. So I've really started, wanting to investigate how the education sector works in South Africa. Hence, I spoke to someone from Varsity College. And I'd asked him, I said to him, tell me, how does IIE, which is the Independent Institute of Education, so the IIE, mind you, as a company, was started privately by a couple of people, who want to have private education. So you could compare it to the Solidarity movement. You could compare it to Solidarity. You could really compare it to Solidarity because Solidarity is also private when they build certain institutions, like the one that we have in Pretoria. So I asked them, why don't you guys have the varsity status? Because in America, private institutions like Harvard, people don't know this. Harvard is a private institution. The best university in the world is private, has got a university status. Why don't you guys have it? He says to me, the government has made it difficult for private institutions like the ones that Solidarity has built. So Solitech, all these private institutions are finding it difficult because government has created so much red tape that there is no private institution that has actually got university accreditation. That's what he says. So what you see here is the perpetual thing of we are going to make sure that people suffer. For as long as it's not government run, we will make sure that you suffer. We will make sure that you feel it, that everything must be done through the government. That you must feel that this ANC, racist, EFF, all these bloody crooks, you must feel us, that we are in charge. That's what's happening. And that is what's affecting, because trust me, as soon as we start to push for education in South Africa to become private, we are going to skyrocket. All these legacy varsities are going to die. As soon as private education becomes recognized as varsity education, it's done with the government. It is done with the government, and the government does not want you to see that. And it does not end there. This week as well, I spoke at an event in Pietermaritzburg, or in the Midlands, for those that don't know it. It's a part of KZN. It encompasses many municipalities such as Umgeni, which is Howick, which is where Mayor Christopher Papas leads. Pietermaritzburg, like I said, Richmond, blah, 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 blah. Won't go through all the municipalities it has, but it includes many strategic places like the Drakensberg. It includes all these other nice places in KZN. Now, the interesting thing about Umgeni and, or not Umgeni, but rather Umgowundlovu, or this Midlands place, right, is the fact that each municipality within this place relies on each other. And they are so close to each other, and some of them are so small to a point that they only have 4 wards. So basically 4 suburbs. And I said there, people don't realize this, but the greedy ANC that wants to have positions for everyone is why this place is failing. If we could take Pietermaritzburg and all these Midlands places and make it one municipality, and we remove red tape, right? We make it easier for small businesses to come up. We make it easier for people to get access to the Drakensberg. We just make this a tourism hub. We could turn around the Midlands very easily. It does not take a genius. It doesn't take a genius. We could create 200,000 jobs overnight. The money is there, but the political will is not there. The enthusiasm for improving the place is not there. You know, there are 7 municipalities in the Midlands, while there should be 1. There's 7 municipalities, meaning there are 7 mayors. There are 7, whatever, 7 speakers, 7 this, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Cool. We see it, plus the district municipality. So we're paying salaries for all these comrades. Here you go, comrade, you get 4 million, you get your 2 million, you get this. Cool. Well done. Now, the people on the ground are suffering. The people on the ground are suffering because there are no jobs. There are no jobs. And it's high time that South Africans wake up. Please, man, wake up. Especially to my people, the Black South Africans, those that live in the townships. It's high time that we start to call the ANC accountable. It's high time that we start doing this. It's high time that we start waking up the ANC. Because the ANC is misleading many Black people. It's misleading many Black South Africans. And I don't know why people just fall into this trap of the ANCs. I mean, they create so many layers of institutionalism. They make it seem like we want to improve your life, while they're not improving your lives. I spoke to Rob Hersov last week in Cape Town. So old Robbo and I, are on Truth Report. I'm sure you guys have seen. And we spoke about BEE. And Rob Hersov said something very interesting about BEE. And he says this is the one thing about it. He says BEE should rather go to employees versus a couple of shareholders, right? It should be a thing of we're giving percentage of shares to employees that actually work in the company. So it would also include white people, rather than giving it to a bunch of black shareholders that we don't know. Now, to my black people that live in the township, that defend BEE, and all that, because trust me, many of you ask me, Kuhle, please go to the township and speak to young black South Africans. And I do it. I do it. And I go, then I denounce BEE. And the crowd will look at me. I should actually record these things. The things, I don't go with camera equipment. A lot of it, I can record with a phone, but I don't go with a lot of camera equipment when I do these things. And this one guy says to me, so one young chap on the street, he says, Kuhle, BEE works for black people. Mind you, he's on the street in the townships. He says, BEE works for black people, blah, 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 blah. I won't get into what he said. I asked him, I said to him, my brother, it's during the week. Why aren't you at work? He says, Ish, chief, I'm unemployed. No, that's how he speaks. Ish, chief, I'm unemployed. You know, oh, things are tough, my brother. Ish, blah, 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 blah. And I said to him, why are you so slow? Why can't you realize that you are unemployed because of BEE and the ANC? You know, you find many black South Africans afraid to vote for the DA, afraid to vote for VF Plus or vote for parties that can actually make change. There are parties that can make change, like the DA. They exist, but they are afraid. They think that somehow, miraculously, apartheid will come back. It won't come back. Tell me, what is worse? Is your poverty worse than you finding a job, whether the person is racist or not? Like, how do people think? Honestly, I mean, how do people think? I cannot fathom why people think like this. I mean, you know, during apartheid, black South Africans had jobs. If you were unemployed during apartheid, it was a choice. It was a choice that I did not want to work. That's why I'm unemployed. That's what was happening during apartheid, right? Now, during democracy, with your lovely ANC and all this other stuff and blah, 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 you don't have a job. The only thing in your head is, oh, well, at least a black guy is running it. That is the mindset that we should denounce. Katlego Moage from Citizen Concerned was right to say Ramaphosa was wrong. Remember, there was a video where Ramaphosa had told Kuhle Mulder, the leader of the VF Plus, said to him, you should be embarrassed or you should be ashamed for not supporting BEE. Something like that. He said, you are part of the group that does not want to see progress. Do you remember that? Remember that video? Now, I sat there. Oh, and he went on to say, so where the point I was going to, he went on to say, black people take pride in seeing black people owning stuff. Trust me, I don't take pride when I see Edwin Sodi having water tanks. I don't take pride. I don't feel any proud at all. When I see Mamkize building RDPs on tender money, the bloody tenderpreneurs, when I see Mamkize building RDPs that fall down, they crack within less than a year of being built. They crack due to heavy weather. They're gone. Do you think I take pride as a black person in such black, corrupt people? Do you think I take pride? I'm proud. I feel like, yes, I see myself in Mamkize. Hell no. I don't. I rather see myself in other individuals of the world. There's so many people I could look up to. Your Thomas Sowells. There are many black people to look up to if you are focused on looking up to black people. Like Thomas Sowell, a fantastic economist from America. There are many people to look up to. But we pick the bottom of the crop. We pick the bare minimum. The ones that are corrupt. The ones that make black people's lives a living hell. They are the ones that are idealized. These same tenderpreneurs, just in case you don't know, they are the same people that steal money. They go to clubs. And when they go to clubs, before they go to the clubs, they go to the townships and they go and take the young black girls, not young white girls. They go and take young black girls And oh, they go and basically, I don't want to say they pimp them up. No, because that's a wrong word. They turn them into slave queens. For those that don't understand what slave queens is, it's someone that just is a gold digger. They now have got weaves, they wear short skirts, and they now drink verves and they drink istropirs at clubs with government money. With government money. People are poor because of that. People are poor because of that. They take government money and they go and spend it with young women. They go and spend it with young women. And then they come back and tell black people that white people are evil. That's what they do. They come back, the same entrepreneurs, we are growing black people, we are doing 1, 2, 3. And then we've got your Mam Keezers of this world praising those construction consortiums or construction mafias. She went there praising them. Oh my gosh. These are people trying to make a living. When will the black South African wake up to realize that black politicians and these black entrepreneurs are the ones that are fooling black people? When will you wake up to realize this thing? That these are the same people that are fooling black people. These are the same people that are making you hate a white person. The same white person who doesn't mind employing you. Who says, okay, you can come and work for me. Oh, no, you need money for your business. Okay, cool. Let me take out money. Let me do this. Do you know that in Umgeni, which is led by a DA mayor, and a white DA mayor for context, Christopher Papas, he had a little program where he took out, I think he sat outside, I forgot how much it was in total, but the bottom line was people from the townships, young black entrepreneurs, could go and apply and they could get 100,000 rand from the municipality to go and improve their businesses, right? Their small businesses, which means they could buy stock, they could do 1, 2, 3. Those stories don't come out. That, a white guy did this for black people. Those stories don't come out. But the story that will come out is some story about a guy who was drunk a few years ago and peed on a guy's laptop at Stellenbosch University. And mind you, it was declared that that was actually not a racial thing. The same black students came out to say, no, he understands the guy was drunk. Shame. He doesn't ordinarily do that. But no, society, Twitter, and the politicians pushed for that poor white guy to lose his education. Today, the man does not have a degree. He was at Stellenbosch. He doesn't have a degree. Even though they said, no, man, he's not guilty. This thing was just a small thing of, he was drunk. He was not doing this out of race, of racial hatred or anything. The black student said it himself. The same victim said it himself. But no, they can't see it. They cannot see that. What they can see is we've got to spread hatred. We've got to make sure that black South Africans hate white South Africans because they know that divided we will all fall. Divided, they will control South Africa. Divided, the ANC will still be in charge. Divided, we will still be having people that cannot look at prosperity. They cannot envision a prosperous nation. They cannot see themselves prospering. That is what the ANC wants for you. That is what the ANC wants for you. We recently had the Equality Court coming out against Julius Malema. Yeah, we saw the judgment. Cool. I saw that judgment myself. The Equality Court came out. Now, ask me what I think. Thank you, Joe Cruiser, for the 70 bucks. Truly appreciate it, my friend. Now, ask me what I think of that ruling. Did it take the Equality Court more than 15 years to realize that this bloody poople, Julius Malema, is racist? Did it take them 15 years to realize that this guy is racist? Julius Malema has been racist from his ANC Youth League days. But in true South African fashion, if racism is done by a black guy, there's no problem. We can all stay, we can all continue, black guy, black people can't be racist. That's the mentality, Now we are supposed to clap for the Equality Court. I did not clap for it. I don't see a well done there. I'm glad it happened. But why did it have to take so long to happen? Why did it have to take so long for people to realize that Julius is racist? We came across as stupids when we said Julius is racist. We came across as coconuts, as people that hate black people. No, it's simple. He is racist. He is a racist. Same as Herman Mashaba. He is also a racist. We must call him out. We must call out these racists. This notion that black people can't be racist is false. It's false. We can't. We can't continue like this. We cannot. I mean, we've got Herman Mashaba, and I saw this thing, I kid you not. Herman Mashaba tweeted one morning, it was this past week actually. I can't remember the exact date, but I can remember the tweet. He goes there and says, we cannot allow for people with white legacy to do 1, 2, 3 about black people and XYZ. And I sat there and I'm looking through this rubbish. Mashaba, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I wake up at 5, but it's 8 o'clock in the morning. The first thing that comes to your head that should be constructive is racism. And no one calls him out. No one calls him out. But if it was, who can we name? If it was, I don't know, John Steenhuisen, who had a slip of a tongue or said something similar, my gosh, Twitter will be jumping. People will be jumping like popcorns, like a tennis ball. You'll be bouncing like a tennis ball. I mean, really, it's ludicrous what's going on in South Africa. It's ludicrous. I cannot stand for what's going on in this country. I am sick and tired. I am up to here when it comes to South Africa. I don't know how you guys feel. I just want to go through one comment quickly because I see someone wrote a very interesting comment here. It's from Ronnie. Yeah, Ronnie says, I was born in Zimbabwe. It was a wonderful country to live until ZANU took over. Fortunately, my parents got us out in 1968, returned on a visit in 2017. The country has been destroyed. Heartbreaking. True. Zimbabwe has been destroyed. There's absolutely nothing in that country. There is nothing. It's just filled with corruption, filled with people. And mind you, Emerson Mnangagwa actually sent out a statement to say, we are going to give the white farmers that left, we're going to give them land. And we'll give them 100,000 US dollars to come back and farm. They are now begging to a point that we're not only going to give you what initially was yours, we're going to give you money. Please come. Please come. That is where South Africa is going to. And I promise you, when South Africa gets there, I won't be here because I'm also going to move out of this country. I'm going to leave. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for the ANC's racism. I don't have time for black people that are racist but cannot acknowledge the fact that they are racist. I cannot. I will not entertain it. And I mean, yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll end the live stream now, actually. But I want to say, while we're on the live stream, please do check out my friend, Ronaldo Host. He's having the Zach chat. Check him out on the other side. Thank you all for joining. I truly appreciate it. Same time tomorrow. We will be doing live streams from now on. It's a new culture we're introducing to 10 Minutes with Kuhle. We'll be introducing videos in the morning, and then in the evenings, we'll be having live streams about the latest news, about the inside scoop, because I do have a lot of inside scoop, and that's what we'll be doing. Till next time, I hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon. See you tomorrow. Good night. And thank you, Susan, for the $35. I truly appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoy your memberships. I will be sharing more tomorrow. Thank you.